Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and of course our partners that hold us down, I'm Ron Grant. Welcome to Season 3 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Now don't worry, it doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. Thank you all for taking this amazing journey with me. As promised, this season, we take you on an entirely different journey. From chefs to dancers, construction experts, we're heading outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From east to west, Virgin Gorda and Igata, not forgetting Jost Van Dyke. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing, and I'm proud. The success of the territory of the Virgin Islands is dependent upon the people that work behind the scenes to make it a great country. We are blessed here in the BVI to have some of the most hardworking civil servants who lend their skills and expertise to the state. Without their invaluable service, we would be nothing. Today, we feature one of the VI's most hardworking civil servants, a father, a friend. He's a lover of Christ and not ashamed to show it. He represents talent, humility, and unapologetic greatness. Mr. Delon Penn, a true 21st century distinguished gentleman. Stick with us to hear all about his journey. Let's go. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals. Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, I am here with the very talented, humble, and amazing, just an amazing human being, the one and only Delon Penn. Delon, welcome to the set of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Thank you for your time. So if I understand correct, based on my research, your mom is from West End?
Yes.
Your dad is from East End?
Yes.
And recently, I think you fall somewhere, drop dead in the middle?
Drop dead in the middle, right in District 3, the heart of District 3, Seacoast Bay.
Okay. When you look at the fabric of Virgin Islands community and heritage, what are you most proud of being a Virgin Islander?
Just the distinct sense of pride and nationalism of what it means to be a Virgin Islander. It's synonymous with hard work. It's synonymous with perseverance. Mm-hmm. It's synonymous with a fierce pride in your ancestry, and then what you are presently, and then what the future of the Virgin Islands should look like. And it's a bright future. So that's why I'm so proud to call myself a Virgin Islander.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact that you agree that there's a bright future ahead of us. As a young Virgin Islander, what are some things that would come about in that bright future for all of us?
Well, I always tell people in conversation, look, we're not where we were. We're not where we should be, but we've certainly come a long way from where we began. Mm-hmm. And we've grown in leaps and bounds in terms of our economy, in terms of our structures of government, in terms of our institutional structures on a whole. And I know, given the current context, it might not be the ideal thing, but I think that when you look at the strides we've made in our past, you can only be hopeful for the future. We'll make many mistakes, that's for sure. Yeah. We'll fall, that's for sure, both individually and collectively. But I believe that the future is ours for the taking if we want something positive for these Virgin Islanders. So.
Beautiful. Speaking on that topic of Virgin Islands, you are a member of the Virgin Islands Youth Parliament.
I am.
There is a new cohort recently of young professionals, different ages, different backgrounds, that have come together. This is, of course, under the House of Assembly. What has that experience been like for you, being a part of the Virgin Islands Youth Parliament?
Virgin Islands Youth Parliament. Well, first of all, let me just say, I'm right on the edge of what could be considered a youth. Actually, I just made a few days ago 36.
Nice, nice.
So
nice.
I'm old.
Okay,
Oldish.
Understand. Okay, but you're
I'll leave
still
it
in.
there.
You're
But I'm
still
still there. I'm
and
still
you're
there.
cusp,
So
okay.
yes, it is. But it has been asked. I think I was nominated by Honorable De Castro, Sherry De Castro, and I, being older than her, it was a sort of a interesting sort of conundrum. But it worked out well. I'm actually privileged to be with such a talented group of people from all walks and all areas of life, and I think that's what makes the Youth Parliament so special. Youth Parliament in general, and this particular Youth Parliament. It has been, I think we had one debate so far. We're preparing for another debate, I believe, in November of this year. And we're also in the midst of doing some work planning for some of the other activities that we feel that a youth parliament should be. And we're really trying to just shape the youth parliament for future leaders and future people who come into the position. So it's an amazing opportunity, and one that I don't take lightly at all. And it's been a very rewarding experience thus far, I must say.
I think the move by whomever, this is not the first youth parliament we've had, but the concept of creating a youth parliament, I appreciate, because I think it gives young persons, up-and-coming young persons, a perspective on how government runs, the functions of it. That being said, a lot of the persons who have participated in the youth parliament or been affiliated with it, they're definitely in tune with the service of the people and government and the functions of it.
Yes.
You are by far one of the best and brightest. And on this show, I say best and brightest a lot because all of my guests are the best and brightest.
Oh, boy.
Understand, and I'm going to throw some nuggets here, but understand that when you look at the Virgin Islands in an entire perspective, we have some of the talented, most amazing gentlemen, young men, and I am honored to be able to present this to the territory. Yes. If you had the opportunity, based on your level of service in the government as a civil service, and we're going to get to that, but more so as a member of the VI Youth Parliament, being one of the older members, if you were presented with the opportunity, because as a country, we're always looking for like-minded, articulate, just good people in general, I believe, to serve. Would you consider public office?
Well, that's a long way to get to the question that I know a lot of people like to ask.
Yes. I took a long time to get there.
But you know something, I would say this. I would say that politics and is not something to be taken lightly. I don't see it in my immediate future, but I don't discount it either in the medium to long term. I'll say that because I think one must be. I got this advice actually from a past politician in a casual conversation, and he said, "Look, before you even think of entering politics, you have to make sure that you are secure in your other endeavors and what you want to do. Don't get into politics for the wrong reasons, or don't get into politics hoping to make a name or that sort of thing." Yeah. So and I always took, and it was just a casual conversation, but I always took that advice to heart, and I believe that you have to be sober-minded and really contemplating all factors when you enter into politics, because it's not just you entering into politics, it's your family.
Yes.
It's your friends, it's your relationships with all the different organizations. So it has a wide-ranging impact. I won't discount it, but I know that there are certain things that I want to accomplish personally before I would even think of making a decision like that.
Thank you for that very honest answer. Earlier in the introduction, I mentioned about the impact and influence of hardworking civil servants.
Mm.
Not all of us, well, I'm not a civil servant, so let me just say, not all of you
Mm.
are hardworking.
Oh man.
However,
You have hit it.
you are a hardworking civil servant. And I really think that at the end of the day, in the final analysis, the fabric of our country and our community depends on persons who are behind the scenes, whether it be permanent secretaries, whether it be private secretaries, persons within the ministries. It really, really solidifies
Yes.
how far we get, because our leaders are our leaders,
Mhm.
but they're persons working day in and day out
Ah.
to make things happen. You have had, I would say, an illustrious career in the public service in different capacities. Tell me a little bit about that journey and some of the capacities that you've served in.
No problem, no problem at all. I started out in conservation and fisheries, actually. I'm a lover of the environment. I just want to put that out there, and a lover of the marine environment. So anything marine, I'm there, whether it's diving, swimming, water skiing, sailing.
Cool.
I'm there. So that love of the environment led me first to conservation and fisheries when I was at HLSCC, coming out of HLSCC, and I worked there until I went for my bachelor's to Florida, and came back. I had my bachelor's in environmental management and assessment. I came back, and upon coming back, there was an opening in town and country planning department for somebody particularly to review environmental impact assessments. That's something that was really developing rapidly at the time. So the chief planner at that time, Mr. Lewis Potter, he said, "Yeah, come, we need you." So I jumped headfirst into that, and it was a lot of just sort of making my own way and using initiative and learning from others, and it was a very interesting experience, and I actually picked up the planning from there, and physical planning and development planning. Went away for my master's, came back, continued working at town and country planning, and rose in the ranks to the deputy chief planner. And it was it gave me a very comprehensive look at development, physical development in the territory, in addition to the environment, because development and the environment in this particular country, this particular setting, they're so closely linked. Anything you do up on the hillside ultimately affects something down in the water. So it gave me that sort of perfect balance. And I served there until I think about 2 years ago, and I actually got another opportunity now with the Deputy Governor's Office, and it was a strange sort of transition, but I'm now the Public Estate Manager in the Deputy Governor's Office, and deal with government-owned and rented accommodations in terms of planning, in terms of ongoing projects, making sure that they're managed properly, the accommodations and leases are done in a timely fashion. I work with a great team at the Deputy Governor's Office. So it was a transition from looking strictly at development planning into now looking at managing buildings and projects and working with a wider range of people across government. So it's
quite diverse.
It's quite diverse.
Yeah.
Been a rewarding experience thus far, and you said it best. I mean, the people who are politicians come and go.
Yes.
But the people who are working behind the scenes, the civil servants, and those are who make the wheels turn.
Yeah.
You know, a policy direction is set, but the wheels turn with the civil servants. So it's important to me, imperative to me, to be the hardest worker that I can be, not only for myself, but for the country in terms of, and my colleagues, and because you lead by example. And I've been given the responsibility, and I plan to always lead by example in any forum that I'm in.
Beautiful. I have to touch on the environment because you said you are first.
Yes.
A lover of the environment.
Yes.
In your opinion, when you consider the environment, what should we as Virgin Islanders be paying more attention to how we treat, how we foster, how we care for our environment?
I could answer this two different ways. I could answer this collectively as Virgin Islanders and individually. So this is a conversation that we're having in terms of the collective care for the environment. Now, we often talk about managing the environment. It's a bit of a funny term to me because the environment is so complex that we can't really hope to understand it, much less manage it.
Correct.
So what we essentially have to manage is our interaction with the environment, because that is what we can control, our interaction with the environment. So collectively, the biggest effect and the biggest negative or adverse effect that we have on the environment is our infrastructure, whether it's the sewage,
Okay.
that would pollute what is supposed to be nature's still little secret, a pristine environment, for the most part. And we have to manage that as a territory, as a government, as a people, collectively, the impact we have, whether it's, and then individually, when it comes to some of our development practices. I'm biased, obviously, I'm in the development field, right? I said earlier, what happens up on the hill affects what happens down in the water. When we clear our land, when we litter, these things not only affect our terrestrial environment, the land, but it goes right down into our guts, our waterways, and goes right down into the sea. And that pollutes the nearshore environment. And that they have the juvenile fisheries, they have the mangroves there. And the mangroves act as a catch-all, but we're also clearing mangroves. The ponds act as a filter, but we're also filling ponds. So individually, our habits, from the slightest litter that we do to when we're building our houses, when we're making these decisions, to how we clear, how we manage our activities, it all has an impact, and you may not see it immediately, but it does.
Do you think we're being counterproductive?
I think we're moving in the right direction in terms of awareness of the problem. I think some of the things that we've done are a bit counterproductive. I think some of the things that, and we're not as strict on enforcement, and you'll hear this a lot, obviously. We're not as strict on enforcement, not nearly as strict as we should be, when we consider global things like climate change and all of these things that even us as a small territory, we have an impact. And recognizing that and then taking the appropriate amount of enforcement, not just the government, but then taking that personal responsibility ourselves as private citizens.
Yes.
To
and that is perhaps
affect.
The most important responsibility to take as a private citizen.
Oh, yes.
It starts at home. It starts in your neighborhood. It starts in your village. Appreciate that. In observing and interacting and researching, one of the things that I admire about you, that I absolutely love, is that you are not only a lover of Christ, but you are an unapologetic worshiper. It is rare, but it is a positive and beautiful insight. Let's talk about faith. Let's talk about the foundation that is who keeps Delon, Penn, keeps the father, the husband, the foundation that allows you to be and do all that you do.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
God is the center of my life. There's really no other way to put it, because if He is the center of your life, then everything that you do revolves somehow around remaining true to God. I mentioned at the beginning that we fall individually. We constantly fall. We know that. But once you have a center, a rock, something to keep you grounded, and that has been instilled in me from birth, really. My mother and my father both have Christ in their lives. I've been one of those children that grew up with going to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday, Wednesday,
once
Friday.
The door was open.
I understand. Once the door
you
was
were
open, I was there, whether I wanted to. So I've enjoyed many had naps when I was small, and then the hat pinched to wake up to pay attention. So it was always instilled in me, and the Bible says to train up a child in the way, and then they will definitely not depart from it. So I tried, when I went away to school and different things that I do, you still stray. You have your own form of rebellion and this and that. But really, when you understand the concept, because I don't like to get too deep into religion because it causes sort of useless circular arguments in a lot of forums. But I'm never ashamed. I was taught never to be ashamed of the fact that I love God, I serve God, and I try to live righteously every day. And that the family I'm married to a wonderful woman, Pamela. Just giving a shout out. And I have two wonderful children, and
two boys,
7 and 5.
Yes.
And for those people who ask me sometimes, when is the goal coming?
Yes.
I'll talk to God about that. You have a conversation with God about that. But I'm for one of 2 boys there.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. 2 healthy boys, but the blessings of God abound, and I thank God every day for them. I thank God every day for the ability to work, to provide. I thank God for the ability to spread the faith through music, through singing.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
I thank God for the opportunity to just show through my actions that I am trying to be a better person, a more righteous person every day. And it's only for His mercies, honestly.
And only for His glory.
Only for His glory.
Beautiful. Multi-talented. When I said multi-talented, that is exactly what I mean. Not only a worshiper in voice, but you are a talented musician.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the instruments that you play.
Well, I started out playing drums and percussion. Okay. And then so in high school, I actually fell in love, not so much with the drum set, but with the xylophone. So I went to camp for that, and that's my favorite drums. And then the Congo drums, the auxiliary percussion. But then I ventured into now keyboard, piano, play a little bit of bass.
Nice.
I started, the very first instrument I tried actually was a saxophone. But I always tell people, you know why I stopped playing the saxophone?
Why is that?
The first couple of classes, I realized that, in high school, it was Beaver High School back then, we had to share the instruments, right? And with the saxophone,
unless you could afford your own.
Unless you could afford your own. So, but we started out sharing the instruments, and you had to use the same mouthpiece as other people.
I agree with you.
And somehow I just didn't really.
I agree with you. That's not happening.
People used to call me fresh, and my family would call me fresh.
What would they call you now in this COVID era?
Let's be honest. You understand? So it was. See, so I'm telling you. So we had actions from back then. I had the right thought. I was on the right train of thought because I said, something. Let me just go ahead with an instrument, but I don't have to.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you.
But I still love the saxophone. Love all the instruments, to be quite honest. But those are the instruments that I.
So I grew up with a family of musicians. My dad is a talented musician.
Oh yes.
Loves music. He plays everything from the harp to the bass, the banjo, the guitar, all sorts of instruments. I never had an inkling for instruments.
Really?
My brother also did music in school.
Good person.
Thank you. My instrument is my voice, and I think I'm okay with that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because my voice is. Yeah. Your voice is an important thing.
It is. It is. Once you use it for.
Good. Positive.
Good. I want to talk about raising boys in the 21st century.
Yes. Yes.
We're so heavily criticized as men for not doing and then sometimes doing too much. The role of a father in curating and preparing a young boy, a young man for life. You're honored. I'm honored. What is that role like for you?
When my first son was born, you know, it was an awesome time. It was a very interesting time. I had all sort of concerns, as any first-time father would have. You know, what does he have to look so? What happened? What gonna happen there? You know, he doesn't look. Is everything okay? And I was making sure my wife was okay. But after I sat back, I actually sat in a chair at the hospital, and this awesome sense of humility and gratitude came over me. And I said, I'm now responsible, fully responsible for another life, a whole other life for the first time. And that just sort of had me frozen to the chair for a minute. You know, first in fear, you felt overwhelmed. But then you realize this is an opportunity to now make sure that every inkling of your being, your actions and your words, prove to be a learning opportunity for that child. And
Wow.
I got my second son, and the same feeling, albeit a little lesser this time because no, I did it before, but the same feeling of responsibility took over. And as men and raising boys, I'm thankful first of all that we have a family structure.
Good.
That is important. That is very important. For both boys and girls, but more so for boys, given the context that we often find our young men in. The family structure remains the best antidote to any negative
model.
thing, the best model to push for. So, you know, I admire single parent households, but I thank God that this is not one of them. Yeah. That I'm not involved, and I take that responsibility seriously. So you watch everything because you know that boys will be easily led astray by the many, many vices that are present all around. And you're aware that they will fall. You're aware that they will do things that sort of have you clenching your fist a bit and closing your eyes and just sort of sitting back. But you're aware that if you put in the time, if you put in the effort, they will not fail you, more likely than not. And I have full confidence that they will grow up to be humble, productive young men with integrity, because that's the type of seeds that my wife and I are sowing in them, and all their family, all the extended family.
And the record speaks for itself. When you look at our community and the ones that have been, not saying that persons who come from a single parent home are less of, or persons who may have lost a parent at a young age.
Yes.
You know, that happens a lot. But it is imperative that we realize it is not on one spouse or one gender to raise boys. It is encompassed, and I am happy that you raised that because throughout this series we've been able to speak with young men who have a great relationship with their mom. Some have a great relationship with their dad, and we do a bit of a comparison. Both roles are pivotal, and both roles are important in making sure that that human being is one that we respect and love. So appreciate that. Dylan, we're out of time.
So fast?
So fast.
Wow.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you've contributed to this society. Thank you, of course, for sitting down and coming to the set. Thank you for your conversation. Thank you for your unapologetic faith as a Christian man, as a Virgin Islander, one who loves the territory. We appreciate you, and we thank you so much for all that you've done. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is one of the best and brightest. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, the one and only Dylan Penn. We'll see you guys next week.